While most folks show up hoping for reduced sentences, some come in with escape on the agenda. Some plans were months in the making. Others are pure adrenaline and bad decision-making. We've seen inmates leap from balconies, dive through windows, and in one case, run so fast they outran a cop. Some nearly got themselves killed. Some nearly got the officers killed. And yes, one guy got chased down by the judge. Robe and all. Here are 16 of the craziest, dumbest, and most daring courtroom escapes ever caught on camera. Christopher Lee Ruffin. In March 2012, 25-year-old Christopher Lee Ruffin tried to escape from a courtroom in Fairfield, Ohio. He was there for breaking the rules of his probation. During the escape, he fought off 2 bailiffs. One of them used a stun gun, but Ruffin still got away. He ran to an apartment complex on Patterson Boulevard and tried to get into a car, but the driver locked the doors. Then he jumped into another car where a woman and her 2-year-old child were sitting. He told her to drive, but before she could, the police showed up. Ruffin ran again, leading officers on another chase before finally being caught and taken to the Butler County Jail. Rashad Hawkins. On May 10, 2021, Rashad Hawkins was in a courtroom in Meigs County, Tennessee, for not paying child support. But things took a wild turn. Right after he was sentenced to jail, Hawkins made a run for it. From the 2nd floor, he jumped over a railing, hit the ground floor, and sprinted out before anyone could stop him. A manhunt followed. He was on the run for 20 days. On May 30th, police spotted him trespassing in Harrodsburg, Kentucky. He tried to escape again, but this time they caught him. Hawkins was arrested and hit with a long list of charges, including trespassing, running from police, assaulting an officer, having drug gear, menacing, and resisting arrest. He was taken to Boyle County Detention Center and held without bond. Jason Mendoza Cordero. On June 4, 2019, 33-year-old Jason Mendoza Cordero tried to make a break for it after being sentenced to 90 days in jail for retail fraud and disorderly conduct in Rochester Hills, Michigan. His escape was caught on courtroom surveillance. Seeing no deputies around, Cordero casually walked out of the courtroom just as one was walking in. Judge Nancy Karniak, who had just sentenced him, didn't realize what was happening at first. A court officer chased after him, but Cordero ran across a nearby road and into the woods. He was caught again within 5 to 10 minutes. In addition to his original charges, Cordero now faced charges for escaping custody and resisting arrest. Eli Villalobos. On February 28, 2023, 28-year-old Eli Villalobos escaped from a courthouse in Oregon. He was about to go on trial for several serious crimes including murder. Security footage showed bailiffs taking off his shackles, as required by Oregon law to avoid influencing the jury. The moment the shackles came off, Villalobos made a run for it. He dashed down a hallway and slipped out through a staff-only door, setting off a major manhunt. 2 hours later, police found him hiding under a blanket in a closet inside a nearby apartment. A neighbor had called 911 to report a possible break-in. Villalobos was arrested and hit with more charges, 2 counts of first-degree burglary and 1 count of second-degree escape. Joel Delgado. On March 7, 2022, 41-year-old inmate Joel Delgado pulled off a surprising escape in a courthouse in Little Rock, Arkansas. Delgado had been facing charges for theft, burglary, and having illegal firearms. He claimed he was injured, so deputies took him to the hospital, then brought him to court in a wheelchair. That's when things got wild. As they were arriving at the courthouse, Delgado suddenly jumped out of the wheelchair and took off, using the railings to give himself a boost. The deputy tried to chase him, but didn't have a radio to call for help. The whole thing was caught on the deputy's body cam, including him running through the streets, even asking strangers if they'd seen the runaway. After checking back at the courthouse for clues, the search went wide. A few hours later, police found Delgado on West 65th Street and arrested him again. Diego Jose Zaya Martinez. Diego Jose Zaya Martinez was charged with making threats and stabbing someone. After a judge set his bail at $100,000, deputies were taking him and other defendants to jail. Martinez was handcuffed but not shackled at the feet. As they walked to the bus, he suddenly made a run for it, slipping just out of a deputy's reach. Martinez made it to the parking lot with a deputy right behind him. He ran faster, jumped a fence, and managed to get away for a while. Later that day, a woman told deputies Martinez was hiding under her house. They found him there and arrested him again. This time, his bond was raised to $500,000. He now also faces a new charge, escape in the 3rd degree. Gerald Hyde. On December 16, 2015, 24-year-old Gerald Hyde II escaped from the Benton County Courthouse in Washington. He was in custody on drug charges and used a blind spot in the hallway to slip away from the guards. Security footage showed him sneaking back into an empty courtroom. He covered his handcuffs with his prison shirt, kicked off his orange jail shoes and ran out the front door. His freedom didn't last long. He was found just a few hours later at a friend's place 2 miles away. Nicholas Garrison. On September 22, 2020, 34-year-old Nicholas Garrison made a bold run for it during his sentencing at the Highland County Courthouse in Ohio. He was about to be sentenced for felony meth possession, which could have landed him a year in jail and a $2,500 fine, when he suddenly broke free from a bailiff and bolted out of the courtroom. Garrison sprinted down the stairs while a deputy leapt over a railing trying to stop him. The attempt failed, badly. The deputy slammed into a wall and fell down the stairs, ending up with a concussion and 4 broken ribs. Garrison got away and went into hiding. But not for long. A few days later, police tracked him to a motel in Clinton County and arrested him. He didn't just get caught, he got slapped with extra charges for the escape. Callum Finter. On February 19, 2018, a video was released showing a teenage phone thief escaping from Bradford Youth Court with help from 21-year-old Callum Finter. The teen, who can't be named for legal reasons, had just been sentenced to 21 weeks in custody for stealing a phone. After the sentencing, he managed to push past 4 security guards and escape through a door. CCTV footage showed Finter pressing a button to open a locked door, letting his friend get away. The teen ran out of the courthouse and even managed to avoid the police. A few moments later, Finter was seen outside, likely heading to meet up with his friend. The teen stayed on the run for 2 days before he was caught and given an extra 6 months in detention for escaping. Finter's lawyers argued that he pushed the button on impulse and didn't plan the escape. He was sentenced to 3 months in jail for helping his friend escape. Christopher Rudd. On May 4, 2018, 35-year-old Christopher Clay Rudd tried to escape from a courthouse in Spanish Fork, Utah. Wearing a yellow prison jumpsuit and handcuffed, Rudd calmly stood up and walked out of the courtroom. When officers noticed and chased him, he took off running. Security cameras caught everything. One camera showed him leaving the courtroom. Another showed him sprinting down a hallway and jumping over a balcony. A third camera captured 2 people trying to catch him as he fell headfirst about 20 feet to the lobby floor. Rudd hit the ground hard and broke his leg, pelvis and skull. It's unclear whether he was trying to escape or hurt himself. He was taken to the hospital and survived. Leonid Grazer. In December 2019, 18-year-old Leonid Grazer, who was on trial in Moscow for allegedly killing his sister, tried to escape from court, in a way no one saw coming. While locked in a glass box inside the courtroom, Grazer spotted a hole in the ceiling and decided to make a break for it. A video shows officers reacting in shock as he climbed up and squeezed into the ceiling space. They tried to grab his legs, but he wriggled out of his pants and kept going. More officers rushed in and eventually they managed to pull him down, pantsless and all. He was then handcuffed to stop him from trying again. Rayton Woodford. On October 4, 2018, Rayton Woodford tried to escape from the Jefferson County Circuit Court in Louisville, Kentucky, after hearing he was sentenced to 5 years in jail for breaking probation on weapons and drug charges. A camera caught the whole thing. It started with a shot of an empty witness chair, then suddenly Woodford jumped into view, with yelling heard in the background. Woodford's girlfriend, who was in the courtroom, screamed and tried to stop him. A sheriff's deputy and a police officer grabbed him, but Woodford fought back. He got up, so one officer had to tackle him, injuring his arm in the process. Eventually, Woodford was restrained and brought back into the courtroom in handcuffs. He was charged with resisting arrest, second-degree escape, third-degree assault, and fleeing from police. Judge Willett remarked that in his 19 years as a judge, he'd never seen anyone try to escape like that. Travis Copeland. 19-year-old Travis Copeland was in a Zion courtroom for breaking the rules of his bond. He had been out on charges of disorderly conduct and assaulting a police officer. While in court, he tried to run away to avoid going back to jail. As officers chased him, Copeland ran across the skyway over Washington Street. Security cameras caught him sprinting through the walkway that links the jail to the county building. At one point, he stopped and tried to escape by smashing through a window. Bad idea, it was bulletproof. He bounced right off. Police quickly caught him. The video showed him lying face down as officers rushed in. One handcuffed him. Another pointed a gun at him. They took him away. Because of the escape attempt, his bond jumped from $50,000 to $1.5 million. He also got hit with a new charge, felony escape. Daniel Nicholson. On September 15, 2020, 35-year-old Daniel Nicholson tried to escape from the dock at Christie's Beach Magistrates Court in Adelaide, Australia. He was facing charges for illegal weapons, stealing a motorbike and setting a car on fire. When Magistrate Susan O'Connor revoked his bail, Nicholson became angry. He fought off two officers, jumped over the dock and landed on a table. A police prosecutor tackled him, and although Nicholson managed to break free for a moment, he was quickly restrained again and dragged away as he continued to struggle. During the incident, two sheriff's officers were injured. One broke a foot and had to wear a boot for 6 to 8 weeks, while the other suffered a sore jaw and headache. Nicholson was high on meth during the escape attempt and had a history of drug abuse. His lawyer said he had struggled with addiction for a long time and was deeply sorry for his actions. Nicholson was charged with escaping custody and causing harm to the officers. He was sentenced to 1 year, 9 months and 18 days in prison, with a minimum time of 1 year before being eligible for parole. Tanner and Cody. On October 16, 2018, two handcuffed inmates, Tanner D. Jacobson and Cody L. Howard, tried to make a run for it right from a courtroom in Lewis County, Washington. They were facing charges like reckless driving, driving on a suspended license, burglary, and dealing in stolen goods. But instead of sticking around, they bolted, Jacobson leading the way. Judge R.W. Buzzard didn't hesitate. He ripped off his robe and sprinted after them, chasing them down 4 flights of stairs. He caught Howard just as he was about to escape through an emergency exit. Jacobson made it out of the courthouse but didn't get far. Police caught him a few blocks away. Both were later hit with new charges for trying to escape. Jacobson's bail was set at $100,000. Howard's was $50,000. Israel Pointer. Israel Pointer, a 19-year-old accused of robbery, made a bold escape attempt in an Oklahoma County courtroom after finding out his bond was canceled, meaning he had to head back to jail. He was already facing charges for having a gun and stealing one. Security cameras caught the chaos. On the 7th floor, Pointer fought with jail deputies and managed to escape, not once but twice. He dashed out of the courtroom, got trapped near an elevator, broke free again and took off down the hallway. Another camera shows Oklahoma County District Attorney David Prater and several lawyers chasing him down. They finally tackled him and held him to the ground. Prater summed it up best: "Working in that courthouse is like the Wild West. You never know what's coming next."